I'm on Mouse Stage today. I'd like to talk about the buffs and debuffs we saw in the new video today. Good stuff here, a lot of clarification here. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So first thing we'll talk about is Arcane Aegis and Temporal Aegis. We now know what the last legendary weapon does, and I'm not terribly impressed. I don't like that this gives it when you lose the turn meter in Divinity, right? Like unless it affects that turn meter drop, I'm not a big fan of this. I think Ame-no-Nuboko is kind of bad, right? If this is what it gives you, because they're removed at the start of the hero's turn, right? And so this is not good. I would like to see this give it to you at the beginning of battle and when your turn meter goes down, or if it affects the turn meter drop. Like if I'm going to do a turn meter drop and then this kicks in, that'd be really good as well. Because at max level, which I'm considering 6 to be max level, because weapons had 6 levels in the alpha, and the 7th level is always in this parenthesis. I don't know what this means, so I'm a little hesitant to say what this is. So I'm just going to ignore it and just assume it's the same as the alpha. Obviously, it could be wrong, but at 6 stacks, it's 62% reduction for a max stat legendary weapon. Not feeling too good. It's kind of bad. All right, let's move to the next one here. Pazuzu, we now know, I imagine this is fear, right? Terrifying fear. There is no fear debuff, right? There is no fear disable. We assumed this was a disable because in raid, fear is a disable. It is a debuff. Pazuzu is significantly weaker than we thought he was. We thought he was going to be this order tower monster. He's not. Right? It's not a debuff. Still 2-turn corrupt is fine. But 1500 divinity. Obviously, this is all subject to change. Remember that. But 1500 divinity for not even 100% chance. Oh, it's each hit, so this is likely to hit. But still, man, like Pazuzu's not impressing me. He's a better imprint than he is a champion, in my humble opinion. Now that we know that this is not ACC, so I was telling people before, hey, yeah, take it for the auto tower, right? Have an easy breezy auto tower. This is not the case. Terrify is this is a good debuff, by the way, but it's no CC, right? I'd be interested to see if bosses are affected by this. Because if bosses are affected by this, then this, if there's an order boss, maybe. I wait to see where else we see this in the game. But yeah, just something to keep up. We know now what this fear does. Cool. Sharpen. I did a video on Sharpen. It landed at the 30%, right? What does this mean? In my video, I said 30 is the bare minimum where I will consider Sharpen. We're at the bare minimum. Right, I think 40 would have been a better number because at most times your Sharpen buff is giving you 20% more damage. Right, and it's kind of gambly. It's stuff. It's not you can't rely on it. You can't control it. Right. What does this mean? Is Quetzalcoatl? He's eating good. Right, 30% plus his natural 30% against he has wisdom attacking into cunning. So against cunning targets. After he ults, he has a 60% chance to petrify. Outside of Quetzalcoatl, I'm not seeing this being a premier thing. Something to keep your eye on, something to remember, right? Especially as there is stuff here, there is something here, but this is not a primary strategy. I would not be saying I'm going to build a weak hit team. I'm going to build a weak hit character. No, Sharpen, just think of it as a pseudo damage amp. So Sharpen falls into the bare minimum of usable, in my humble opinion. So I'm interested. Right? I'm going to play around with it. But yeah. Next, we have Blunt I want to talk about too. Blunt, I think, is significantly weaker than Sharpen is. I don't think Blunt is terribly interesting. It's there as a counter to strong hit teams. But like I said, I don't think that strong hit is going to be a prevalent thing that you do. I think it's something you're going to get lucky with. So this is fine. but it's definitely not a premier debuff, right? I'm happy to have it. Like Svarog has blunt. Join the team, man. But I'm using Svarog anyway. The blunt is okay. It's something to take note of. It's a trivia question, right? What does blunt do? I don't think it's going to impact the game. Now, Dark Tidings. This one's a little bit interesting to dissect. So each stack decreases the damage inflicted by 5%, stacking up to 5 times, and removed when this hero casts their ultimate. Ultimates, if you can only, I don't know where this is from, but I'm imagining it's someone has this in their kit, right? It's a bird, so like maybe it's one of the bird champions, right? But like, if you're like getting one of these, like let's say it's on your basic, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to do a stack of Dark Tiding on your basic. This isn't terribly interesting unless you can hit the max stacks. I'd say in two abilities, right? I don't know, because bleed, there are bleeds give out like 3 stacks at a time with Achilles. So like if you can get all 5 up in like 2 rotations, this is interesting. But if not, attack down just outperforms this, and this works with attack down, right? But without knowing the source of Dark Tidings, it's hard to parse if this is good or not. My gut says it's fine, right? It's not premier, right? It's not like, when I say premier, I mean like attack up, defense down, right? The staple stuff you do, like defense up, like those are premier buffs and debuffs, right? This is fine, but I wouldn't say it's premier, right? At max stats, decrease speed and initiative by 10%. That's fine, right? It really depends on how quickly you can get to these 5 stacks of how much I care about it. Next, we have some miscellaneous new stuff or stuff I want to talk about. So Ricochet attacks a random target, then continues chaining to new targets, which each attack has a lower chance to occur. Interesting. Very interesting. Does this do... Is this like... Do I buff my damage dealer with Ricochet? Like, can I put this on someone with really high target single damage? Like, I think of I think of Mulan's a single target damage dealer, right? Do I give Mulan Ricochet, and then all of a sudden she's doing full damage to like 2 or 3 people? I mean, that's interesting. Depends on our sources of Ricochet, right? Ether Burn. I really, really want this to be decrease. We need a decrease your chance to weak hit a target by 30%. So you can bring in champions that are not good at content into content, right? I keep looking for this. There's no source that will give you reduce weak hit chance by 30%, right? And that's what I'm really looking for here. So increase weak hit chance. This line of text is by 10%. It's fine, right? Could mess up something. You have a 10% chance to get a get out of jail free card against damage dealers and against debuffers. But I don't like the inconsistency. And then reduce divinity by all allies by 6%. Okay, right? That's good, right? It's an AOE divinity dot. The divinity reducing is good, right? But it doesn't work against boss divinity, right? It's harder and harder for me to see. Now, if you do an AOE Aether Burn, it means your opponents can't ult. It's basically a lock ultimate. Because whenever it's their turn, it's going to reduce the divinity, right? So in PvP, AOE Aether Burn actually acts like a pseudo lock ultimate with a weak hit chance. I like it, actually. I like this a lot. It's gonna lock out ultimates when you think about it that way. Okay, next. Backfire. This is old, what was this called? Reflect. This is old Reflect. They just renamed it to Backfire, because this is reflected. Now, you can't see bleed that well. I'll just remove myself for a second. But for bleed, we have increase and do the 1% damage second 10 times. Cannot be removed or reduced by abilities. Okay. Bleed looking juicier and juicier. I already liked bleed, man. I already liked bleed a lot. Now it can only be removed, it seems, by mend, right? Mend is, it removes 2 stacks now. So yeah. All right. Bleed's looking good. So let's go to the next one. We have an update for Hel. Right, I'm covering Simon's face. Right, I just took a screenshot of the video, obviously. First things first. Some lore. Ooh la la. Okay. Lady of Graves rules over the undead of Asgard who perish of illness and old age. Right, because the warriors go to Valhalla, but the people that don't die in battle, they go to Helheim. Right. Hers is a joyless domain, but then she is often a cool and pitiless goddess, but in Riven, she negotiates with the mysterious Shadow Council formed by Osiris Lore. We know that Osiris formed the council. That's actually interesting, considering that he is an epic, right? And because he's an epic, and the rest of the gods are legendary, did he form it because he got less power from the shattering? Maybe was he the most affected by the shattering, or one of the most affected people? Like, that was kind of what I saw when I saw like the people moving up and down, is like, hey, if you're a god and you're an epic level, you may have been affected heavily by the shattering. And if you're a mortal at the legendary level, think of like Oda Nobunaga, right? You were probably very benefited by the shattering, right? Mulan and Oda Nobunaga can kind of stand toe to toe with like Hades, right? And I think that's a shattering thing, right? So did Osiris form this because he got a little weakened by the shattering and he wanted some friends? I think that's my theory. And then, this is the spicy part. The lonely Hel finds herself falling in love with a most unlikely figure. Ooh la la. Some love. I don't even know who would be the most unlikely for Hel. Let me think. Let me ponder this for a moment. Like, would it be Hercules? Like, I'm picturing her as like an ice queen, and then Hercules is like a pompous, like what is it? A pompous like a jock, right? Oh, that'd be most unlikely indeed. Anyway, let's get the law out of the way. Let's go to this stuff. So we see here for A1, she has this this text that what's his name has Guan Yu. However, important caveat: Curse is a much weaker debuff than Drain is. A much weaker debuff. This is a worse form of Guan Yu, right? So, put that little check there, right? More damage. This is very similar to Guan Yu. So she has a very similar kit to Guan Yu, or their basic and A1. Nothing terribly interesting here. However, what makes her interesting is obviously her ultimate, which has, they increase the ult cost again, right? 1600. If you can't read it, it's pretty hard to read. But attacks all enemies, revives them, applies the Shade debuff, right? Which Shade is very, very good, right? Doesn't work with minion bosses. If it's a minion boss, play defense down 2 instead for 2 turns. She's a little confused of where she wants to be, because this is screaming boss fight, even though, and there could be healing bosses. There could be bosses. We know the Daimyo has the barrier, right? So Curse is very good. We have reviving and placing Shade. That's interesting. This is a PvP thing, though, because it doesn't work on bosses. And defense down 2 is good, but at 1600 divinity, it's kind of awkward, because you'll probably use this on wave 2 to help you clear wave 2 going to the boss, and then you won't have it for the beginning of whatever. And if this works like Guan Yu, it ignores defense anyway, so who cares about defense down? So I think she's a little confused here with what she wants to do, but I mean, the Shade thing is super dope. And defeating an enemy, increases turn meter fill effects on this hero by 20%. She doesn't have a turn meter fill effect, so once again, feeling a little confused here. But the heartbreaking thing, the thing that breaks my heart, when Simon read this, he said persist over waves is a rare thing. So I'm going to say that if it does not say persist, it does not go. That means the Noda Obunaga imprint is significantly worse than I thought it was. It's probably not going to carry over between waves. That's what I imagine as well. And a lot of these effects that we see stacking, like the Achilles, the attack stacking on the A5 does not go between waves. It wasn't that good anyway, and the fact it doesn't go between waves, that really hurts. Yeah, that's rough. So I think Hel's a little confused what she's doing here. I think she is still quite strong. I don't know if she moves up tier list at all, though, man. Like, where is her? Like, you're just gonna bring in another curse. You're gonna bring first of all another common Shinigami W. You're gonna bring in Shinigami to give you your curse, right? You're gonna ult with Shinigami, who has, the ult has super low cooldown, right? Super low divinity cost. That's gonna be your curse, right? He's gonna bring your defense down in hex. And then you're just going to Shinigami ultimate, just like I did in the alpha. Instead of bringing, and he also brings Drain, so it's going to do more damage, right? Or she's going to heal off of it. And this could be her sustain. And I'm not loving this new Hel, man. I don't know. Previously, she was a nuker that had a dream. And now she's a nuker that has this cool debuff. This cool disable. But, like, I don't know how impactful this is going to be outside of PvP, and I think you're gonna have a hard time. I'm predicting PvP to be a big defender slugfest. So I don't know how Hel's gonna do into that. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to kill targets with Hel or like with the ultimate before she dies herself in these PvP fights. So, and if you can kill targets with the ultimate, it's 1600 divinity, man. Like, I don't know if this ultimate will come in time to change a PvP fight, like to turn the corner, right? I'm not sure. It seems like a win more thing. I personally like the new Hel a lot less. I like the old Hel a lot more. That was of course, when I had the dreams of stacking the attack over the waves. I don't know, man. The shade, it's cool, but like at the same time, I'm not personally sold on Hel. But that being said, I do have her locked in for the minigame because, I pulled to my first legendary. I have 2K pulls. This is my actual shot. Actually, at the time of recording, it just rolled over. I actually have more than this. And I advise holding these as well. And I still advise holding them until we have all this information. Because now I have an eternal legendary, guys. How many people can say that? How many people have Hel locked in right now at the time of the video? She was my first legendary. That's why she's locked in. Right? But, it's no secret. I've had Hel the whole time. And I have an eternal legendary. I think I value her much less. I will get rid of her. I don't value her more than other characters. So I do plan to pull these. I might pull these on a stream closer to the release date when we have more information. That's why I say, even if we know all the kits, keep holding them because they might do a change like this, right? Where what happens if Hel was good? What happens if, I shouldn't say Hel's good. I don't know. She has a lot of weird stuff going on. What happens if I valued it though? What happens if I really valued Shade, and I traded off my Hel for someone else? That'd feel really rough, right? That's why my thing to you is, at the end of the day, haha, I have an eternal legendary, and you probably don't. And that's like, I don't want you to take away from this, really. I hope this video was enjoyable to you. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys subscribe. I'll make more content like this in the future. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.